Hi, this is Mike Bixler here to talk to you about pre-calculus and what we'll be up to in that class. First, I want to give you a little background about myself. I grew up in this area, did a math undergrad degree, ended up doing a graduate degree in electrical engineering, and then my PhD in computer engineering. So I'm kind of all over the place as far as technical subjects. I got an internship for a defense contractor in college. Ended up staying there after I graduated. The only thing was I kind of had what I call a quarter-life crisis, and I was just on a computer a bit too much, and I needed sort of a better mix of things in life. And so I heard about this school. I'd always tutored friends and family and other people, and SATs and other stuff, and this turned out to be the right place. So this is my 15th year teaching here. And so I think that, based on the experience at my other job, which I still have at halftime throughout the year, it really helps me integrate some interesting stuff into the curriculum and really tell the students, you do use this in real life. As far as what we do in pre-calculus, essentially it's an extension of EFA. So in EFA, we did chapters 1 through 6 in the textbook that the students have. In pre-calculus, we'll do chapters 7 through 12. This version of the pre-calculus book is called Pre-Calculus with Limits. So limits are sort of the segue between pre-calculus and calculus. So in a lot of pre-calc courses, they don't do anything on limits. In this one, we will. And I tell the students not to worry, yes, we're doing some calculus, but anything that we do in here as far as calculus will be covered again in their calculus course next year before moving on. And it always turns out to be a smooth transition. A lot of the material in chapters 7 through 11 is things they've seen before, but we're going to go a bit deeper into things. Really the goal in this course is to fill in a lot of the gaps of just things that weren't covered in detail before they hit calculus. And that's not an incrimination of what we do or don't do here. It's more so just that there's so much stuff that you can get into before calculus. And one of my issues when I got to calc in college was that there are certain sort of prerequisite pieces of knowledge that I didn't have, and that just made the whole course much more challenging in that I was learning the calculus as well as the things that some people had seen before and some hadn't, and so we won't want that to happen to these students. We focus a lot on real-world applications, word problems. We essentially give them the harder problems in the homework, and they don't always appreciate that, but I hope that you will. Another thing we do in this course, because we have a little bit of time in the curriculum, is a financial project involving, looking at stocks, mutual funds, real estate, commodities, all that kind of stuff. And it differs a bit from what they may have done in a previous course. We're not just tracking the price of a stock and seeing who lucked out that semester, but more so talking about strategies, for later in life as far as kind of getting ahead of the game, right? Putting money in as soon as you can upon graduation into a 401k and all that kind of stuff. It's sort of like a passion of mine. I talk to a lot of our mates teachers about this stuff, and I think it's something that the financial literacy course from the state doesn't really talk about. A lot of these topics the students have told me that they've heard of, but they don't know anything about it. So I want to take that knowledge beyond just having heard of the term mutual fund and understanding what it actually is. So we'll tie that into computer science next year or this semester as far as working with some of that data that we collect. The SAT 2 subject test, I don't know if you've all heard about this, but they are getting rid of that as of this year. I think it's a little bit unfortunate because I think that's one of the places where our students sort of got a bit of an advantage. In other words, a lot of schools, I think their grades are a bit inflated, and I see these standardized tests as sort of like a great equalizer to show that our students, despite the fact that the GPA, might be consistent with someone in another school, we can see that the knowledge here is much more. Nonetheless, the SAT 2 math subject test is really good practice, again, for the material they'll encounter in calculus. So we won't focus as much on the timing of the test. In the past, it was a very tightly timed test. You had to really get through it quickly, and I focused on that. Now, so we're going to move more towards just making sure they have all these concepts really well down. The course is taught using a point system. So way back when I first started teaching, I used percentages, and I found I was always struggling to fit in an extra homework or an extra quiz because I felt that there weren't enough of those in that category for that marking period. With a point system, everything's just worth it, sort of what it should be weighted at. Homework might be 5 points, a quiz might be 30 points or 40 points. And this way it just sort of works itself out. There's no rush at the end of the semester, and their grade is simply the points they've earned divided by the points available that semester or that marking period. And as far as other students having Miss Kennis for pre-calculus, we talk basically every day. Do we do things at a slightly different pace at times? Sure, but in the end, we're going to have largely or exactly the same assessments. We're going to end up at the same place, so there'll be no disconnect between this course and that one at Bates. And if you have any questions, my email is mbixler@ocvts.org, and I appreciate your time.